those libs can't throw that off. Dude, those clubs are expensive. Free game.
Okay, go over these notes right here. So open interval means there's no brackets. You can see right here. We include everything in between A and B. So A and B is just two numbers. So like, for example, you said 1 to 5 parentheses. Everything between 1 and 5 would be including that. Right. So you would not include 1 and 5, sorry. What was making you do including everything? You know, there's a bracket. You see less than or equal to, less than or equal to. I know in my head, the way I think about it is A to B, X is between A and B, and you include them. Instead of saying A is less than or equal to X, which is less than or equal to B, which in my head sounds super weird. But if I just visualize it as X is in between these two things and everything in between, I think that makes more sense. Right, so right here, X represents all the numbers between A and B, but not including the endpoints. Open, closed. X represents all the values between A and B, including A and B. You can also have half open, meaning they include one side but not the other side. We put a bracket, so if you see the bracket, we're starting right there. If you see a parentheses, we're starting right after. That makes sense? Now, I'm pretty sure there'll be examples in a moment. That's the theory.
Can you zoom in on that one?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Are those brackets?
Yeah.
Yeah, so right here.
So
bracket
brackets,
A, bracket B.
so the brackets mean it's closed, right?
Yeah, it means close and you include the ends.
Okay.
So visually, you have like solid points there.
Okay. And if you put parentheses, it means like it's not exact.
Yeah, it would be like if we said all the numbers between 1 and 3. But open. 3 is not included, but 2.99.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I know.
Right before. Okay. So that's the only. We're either gonna go to the end point or use context before, or you start right after the end of the beginning point, or right on it. Okay. And there is a number of points between any two numbers. Well, this interval can be proven to be infinite. Infinite number of numbers. But we're not gonna get into that because that's high level math and you're not going there. That's okay. Right?
Not smart or what?
I asked you earlier if you're doing any STEM, at least everyone said no, right? Really? Is there any engineering, STEM or math, physics? Nice.
Okay, that's why we're not going there.
We're not going there. I mean, I would like you to, but I'm not gonna force you or force my beliefs on you.
I wanna read the religion.
All right, you guys got this top part. Yeah.
Wait, go up. There you go.
Figure that this X greater than A. So that just mean if you see it written this way, it's just saying when you start at some number, you can keep going. With A and then putting all the numbers after. Infinite and from A to infinity. Pointing the other way, as long as the X is first, the arrow will tell you which way you're going. That way you don't have to work.
You go, sir.
So we just said earlier, table 1, open interval, neither endpoint is included. Closed interval, both endpoints are included. Half is obviously has half and half.
Wait, can you move
Yeah,
it up a little bit?
Sure.
So infinite.
Yeah, it just keeps on going.
¿Aquí arriba?
Es lo mismo, pues.
No, lo que te quedó.
That's right.
What did he say?
Bro, you probably got some chewed up.
It's cool to table one.
But I,
No rush. I don't know.
Wait, hold on.
Go further down.
don't stress.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Hold on. I think so.
I'm so sorry. I thought you meant like table one for there, and that means you're gonna go on the next page. That's why.
Oh, yeah, you guys are okay with here, right? Let's wait there.
I can't see it. A little bit. We're good.
There's no rush. So
He went on mute.
I see this, I'm assuming.
No.
You're no evil.
Dude, is that like gonna be like our thing? Just do this real quick, and that boy already knows. Greatest deal.
When you're solving inequalities, all the same rules for solving equations apply. It's almost exactly the same. Everything will be the same. Solving for x, moving things around, dividing both sides. The only difference is there's an additional. If you get a solving for x, then remember the new rule, and that's okay. Also understand that the solution includes more than one number, right? There'll be like a range. What they're saying here is you can add any number c to both sides and it still holds true. The inequality of the symbol, the less than, will not change. So if a is less than b, then adding any number to both sides will still make it true. A plus c is less than b plus c.
You like 350C?
What is it?
I heard their doors actuators like go out and people can't even open the door. Dear Lord. Bro.
Well, I don't like easy.
At least make sure you took.
Yeah, he has a GoPro.
Oh, not that one. Either.
So this is where the rule changes. C is positive, and you multiply both sides by that number. It doesn't change the symbol, but if C is negative, it'll flip. So if you divide both sides by any negative, or multiply both sides by a negative, that's when the inequality shifts. Okay. You guys cool on the previous page? I didn't ask you. You guys okay here? That's what they're saying here in a nutshell, is if you divide or multiply by any negative number c, see how it flipped to the right? It switches to the opposite. Well, then change the way the interval looks like when you graph it. See the brackets? Might be going the other direction or below, above or below. Keep an eye when it switches. They'll mess you up.
Did we? I'm with you.
Yeah, really good.
So here are all the steps that we're gonna go over. They're almost the same, like I said. First thing you do is combining like terms on both sides. So you can check and see, is there x's, is there numbers that add up, something like that. With your parentheses, you can multiply. Once all that is done, distribution is done, then subtract both sides or add the opposite of both sides. Isolate your variable. I recommend isolating it on the left side, that way you'll know exactly how the graph's gonna look like. So if X is on the left, this time it kind of matters. Because you'll have the arrow X greater than or X less than, and the arrow will tell you which way the graph's gonna go. Step 3, of course, is divide both sides. Just remember, if you divide by a negative, you will reverse the inequality. It will change direction. Or if you multiply. Then any number that's within that range will be a solution. There's no longer X equals to one specific number. If for example, we solve for X and you get X is greater than 5, then any number above 5 is a solution. So it's a little bit different. You'll graph that interval. Just in one dimension. Alright, so here's the answer. We'll do some ourselves in a second. With all the inequality, if X plus 5 is less than or equal to -1. So treat it like an equation, same thing. First thing you do, right, subtract both sides by 5, or the way I was doing it, move the 5 over, and combine like terms. But always check, is there any like terms that we can combine? Now it's even. -5 minus 5, you get -5 by cancel. -1 minus 5 is -6. So at this point, you divide both sides by 6. You see how everything is the same as we've done before. That's not a big deal, right? Only difference is once you get to the end, it's not X equals a number, it's X is less than or equal to -1. So everything below -1 is a solution. Okay. So the way you would graph is you put a bracket on -1, the arrow is pointing to the left, so you put the bracket. Everything below that is a solution, including -1. So the domain would be, I'm sorry, the solution set. X is somewhere in here. X represents all the numbers below -1. And those are all solutions. Does the big picture make sense before we get into it? We'll do it on the paper in a second. And I like to just think of it as moving the 5 over, and if you move it negative, get a 1 minus 5, -6. Divide both sides by 6. We're isolating X. Everything is the same. Now you read this as everything below or equal to -1 is your solution. Okay. Back it. Interval notation. Never put bracket on infinity or -infinity. It is a concept, not a number. Brackets are for numbers. Okay. have any questions on the first example they did? Make sense, step by step? Any steps that don't make sense? You understand why there's a bracket? You understand how it's impacted? Divided. Go for it. Do the same thing here. Try it out, and we'll work it out together in a second. Try this one.
Can you move it up a little bit?
Yes. First step, subtract by 8. Divide by 4. And then draw a graph. How do you write this as an interval?
6, comma,
No, bracket or parentheses on 6?
Bracket.
Parentheses because it's not equal to.
Here's what's one.
So bracket here because they had that. Equal to.
Yeah, you're right.
But never on infinity. And just to help you remember, the most negative always goes first, or the smallest. When I say smallest, I mean most negative. Okay. So that's why this guy went first. Smallest, and then it kept going. Kept going to the right. Any questions in here? The steps? Okay. So we'll solve the ones after this, since the answers are right here. Let's just think through this. It's already solved. Negative 3. So bracket on -3, we keep going to 1. And it's half open because there's only a close on half. Close on the right side. And when you see 3 of them like this, X is just between them, literally. So put a bracket on the left side. It's equal to. There everything in between -1.5 and 3.2. Parentheses on 3.2 because there's no equal to, right? Make sense? So you'll be solving these, but when you get to this point, just make sure you remember, what does this mean? Where's the arrow go? Okay. If they were both open, then that would be completely open, not half open. If they were both closed, then it would be closed. You wouldn't say half open. All right. Making sense?
Reventar todas.
Hoy vamos a entrar por poder. No tiene novia. To isolate the X, what would you be first?
Where you at?
Oh,
Minus.
yeah, just the minus the one. So X is greater than 4 is your solution set. So. How do I draw it? Right? Right here. Parentheses on the 4 is everything above 4. Just read it. X greater than 4. Everything above it
Okay.
cannot include the 4.
That's higher.
Does that make sense on how they get the graph and the interval? Is it fine? What's gonna happen on 8? What do you think, Serena? How doesn't we divide? Yeah. Divide by -2, it's gonna flip directions. That's the only thing time you gotta be careful. Pay attention. Dividing by negative, or multiplying by negative. Right away, just change it. Now it's X is less than or equal to. 6 divided by -2. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Just be very careful. It's the only time it's different. Everything else will be very similar to stuff you've done before. But if you mess it up, then you're gonna draw it incorrectly. Because you'll be drawing the opposite direction. Okay.
Number 9 is gonna be 407. What? 470.
First, you gotta move the 7 and then divide.
Okay. Yeah.
Happy drawing. All right. I'll move on then. Actually. 9 out of 10. That looks hard.
No mames, güey, al chile con. Somebody's no me ha dado cuenta de chile. Como viene, pues, no.
Have to, but I suggest you get the X's to the left side. That way when you graph, it'll be easier. Okay. You guys get it for 10.
What?
What's your first step, Cernan?
Moved to X and two plus 6.
Remove the 2x. To get us to here. Think that what? Second thing?
Then you gotta move to 6.
Two minus 6. Negative.
Yeah. And then divide 3.
That's about right.
You get 2.6666.
Let me just do it that way. Good. -8. Do I put a bracket or? Everything after or above. Is a solution. So as an interval, this is.
3. Oh, I said 8.
We're out of space, but this is called your interval. This is the graph. I'm expecting you to be able to graph it. Or solve for it, right? On the next exam, you'll solve for X. You'll graph it, and then you'll tell me what the interval is. Okay. Any questions on 10? And 10's cool.
You can go.
Go get your own, bro.
This was great.
All right. Number 1. The additional exercises. More conceptual. You have 9 halves inside that interval. Yes. It has a bracket, so it's including 9 halves, right? That's starting right there.
Interesting.
Is 4 inside there?
Except for you. That's why I put it next to you.
What is 9 halves the double? What is this 9 halves as a decimal?
4.5. Or 1. Decimal.
4 point. Hold on, let me.
4 point something.
4.5.
4.5, right?
Oh, yeah.
So that's a starting point, correct? And we're including it to the bracket.
What's this?
So is 4 inside there?
Yeah.
The 4.5 is the starting point. So 4 would be low. So, wouldn't 4 be outside? You see what I'm saying or no? 4 is right below 9/2. 9/2 is 4.5. So we do not include C. What about 1/2? Is that too small?
1/2.
Is this below 4.5?
Yes.
Just like the 4, so we can't include either one. What is 13/2?
That's 6.1.
6.5 in here?
Yeah.
Yes.
It is.
Yeah. Well, think about it. This is the same thing as saying, okay, if we have a bracket, an interval. Bracket on 4.5, so I'm using decimal so you can see it easier, because I know you guys don't like brackets, but here the decimal is better.
Let's see.
So everything after time. That interval. So 4. After the somewhere down here. So C and D are not inside 4.5 to infinity. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's all they're asking, or which ones are in there? Choose the wrong ones. So if it helps you graph it, I recommend you graph it. If it helps change the decimal, then I think you should change it. 4.5 is a lot more obvious than 9/2. Okay. Look, no.
That's it.
Esas cosas.
Si no, Carlos, dale, si Dios. Pinche parte. A ver, si no sé qué. Quisiera como que amplificarlo. Verde, blanco y rojo. No, Cristian. Ah, güey.
Come on.
Bro, what's a small break?
No. Yeah. Take a break. Take a break. Yes. What's the first step though?
Get rid of the 4.
Yeah.
So step 1, write the solution intervals.
That'll be 10, -10, and then divided by 2, so that'll be 5, -5,
Negative.
and then that'll be D. There you go.
Yeah. Then you get your 5, right? What happens to the inequality though?
Flips.
As we divide by negative, you gotta change it.
Yep.
I missed that part.
Oh,
So write the solution using interval notation. What does that mean?
okay. I thought he was here.
So we solved it, but they wanted an interval. What is interval?
Interval? Lunchable.
Not much. Interval. The thing with the bracket and parentheses.
Be parenthesis X. And then
Well, we put a bracket or parentheses on the 5.
a bracket.
So we're gonna put bracket. 5, and then. Oh, wait, a minute, which way am I going?
This way.
I think you were right earlier. Let's just see first. Up until 5. So 5 is the highest value, so it goes to on the right side. Keep going to the left.
The highest values is on the right side.
I know what it is.
Most negative goes on the left. Step 2, graph the cat. Five. Take a break and then we'll maybe start the review. Okay, review for test 2. Do you guys have any questions on this guy? Wednesday. All of you. You have. Don't have. You first. Three over 2. This is you.
Oh.
Minus 3 halves. You go to 7 halves. No, it's.
Okay, I did.
Feelings are hurt a little bit, that's all.
Don't do this. The help.
Okay.
All right, first step. Add it over. And do we need to worry about the LCDs? What LCD do we get? What's the LCD of these? What's the requirement to add it back?
You have to have 3 and 2.
We already have it, right? So since they are the same, we don't have to worry about LCD because they already have a common denominator. So how do you add them? Then you just add the tops. Does this reduce?
Yeah.
Because there's a common factor, right? Or 10 divided by 2 is 5, same thing. Any questions on the first one? So far, not too bad, right? You're not gonna miss that. Solve. 2.1x. Minus 1.1x. That's 8.1. Equal to negative 0.6. Well, the rules say first deal with like terms. You see the like term on the left? What can you combine before moving anything over? Yeah, we got the same types, right? 2.1 minus 1.1. Yeah, just the one. But you don't have to write the one, because one X is just X. What would you do next, though?
That's a 1x.
Yeah, just subtract it. And we're done. Negative 0.6 minus 8.1. Questions on 1 or 2? So far, guys are not gonna miss those, right? Make sure you fill your test. It's a lot of garbage on the class exams. If you need, show your stuff. If you need more time, I can give you more time. Don't write in a spiral. Something strange. All right. 3. Still solving equations. 7/2 u or negative 6. Step I need to do this all for you.
For me?
Yeah, what would you do?
No.
What's probably gonna be a good idea, but what would you
Divide.
use?
So 3.5. You divide it into. Never mind.
Good at fractions.
Oh, divide. 7/2.
Yeah, you can divide by 7/2, or you can multiply by the reciprocal. That would save you 1 step. But if you did divide by 7/2, that would be okay. I recommend, though, you do this on both sides. So an extra step. So you can see. These 2's cancel, these 7's cancel.
That's easy.
What we chosen, right? Get rid of them. Now on the left, the right hand side. You got 2 times a negative 5. Over 7 times 6. Parentheses are not necessary, I'm just putting them because. On the negative 5, it is kind of necessary because it'll become confusing. So let's just put it everywhere, put them everywhere, it's fine. Reduce the fraction before you multiply. You see any common terms? No. Let's see if we can find one. What's inside? What are the prime factors of 6? 3, 2, and 3. Let's so. It reduces, right? Now we got a negative 5 over 7 times 3. The very final step, I recommend you multiply. Try to multiply at the very beginning. Just cancel stuff first, and then multiply. That way you won't have to worry about it. At this point, I know for a fact that we do not have any common factors. Are there any questions about the steps on 3? Weird or strange? Or it's still the same thing. So you.
Hey, sir, what's this?
Wednesday,
Next one?
yeah, 7 days.
You sure?
You guys cool on this page? No rush, I can't wait. Turn the page, that cool? What do you guys do on number 4? Seems easy. Divide it. Or,
No, you, well, the negative for each and the positive, and then you just divide it by everything.
add the 40 over,
Yes.
divide by 8. What's 40 divided by 8? Divided by. That is negative. Divided by 8 is. -5. Any questions on 4? So far, you feel like maybe this is doable. Move on to 6 then. I wrote them. Last equation, moving on to something. Both use.
Oh, that's a U. I put a 6.
This does look like 6. I put a little tell on it, but I don't know. Maybe that's making it worse. Let's do first. On options.
4u, the other side and subtract 2.
Try that. I'll do the 4u, so now it's 2 minus 4. -2. -3. Okay. Then. Add the 7. It gives us that 12.
Yes.
Final step,
5/2.
divided by 2.
Or negative.
Negative, be careful with the signs. Positive by negative is negative. This is a 6. Any questions on 1 through 5 solving for X? Solving for any group. Six, they want us to write the equation, so basically translate this from English to math symbols. And there, for number 6, they want us to use Y for unknown number. Okay. So set up the equation. 68 times a number. When it's 45 is equal to -98 less than the number. Number is 1. What's the left side of the equation going to be?
-1.
68 Y. 8 times a number minus
45.
45 equal to so if you said you're 98 less than a number, how would you, what does that mean? The Y first or second? I think so too. Second of it. Y minus 98, because that number is 98 less than. It's subtracted. Yes, let's see if I translated it correctly. It's the answer. Oh, interesting. Well, they said it was -98, wasn't it? Almost had it. We're subtracting a negative. You guys pull the translation. Any questions on where this came from? Alright, so that's part one. Kind of like,
So there's two transitions.
step two, you want us to solve for what? So just actually solve the question we translated. So now that we have it, we're back to 1 through 5. What should we do first?
Combine like terms.
I always check. So first thing I did here is leave that negative, right? Now, there's no more like terms on either side, so we can start moving things around. Which would we move first? Okay. Move the 45. This right here was step one. Translation. And a space. I should have. 98 plus 45. Yeah. 5 plus 143. The y. The next step. We're almost done.
That was you were adding.
What's up?
Oh, it was a negative, that's why. Never mind. I was gonna say, how is it you're adding y plus 98?
Yeah, the y was always positive. There was a number less than, this. Minus. Okay. Final step. Yeah, just divide both sides. I'm out of space. 67 go in there? Good as is then. Oh, we can check. It's not.
I got confused
Right.
with the 98.
Okay. Oh, like how it's set up?
Yeah.
Translation. Okay. Let's think about it again. See. So the left-hand side made sense? 68 times the number.
I get that, I understand that, but I don't get how the 96 like is in parentheses and then negative, and then it becomes a positive.
They're saying this number. So. I think negative 98 less than a number. So you're keeping the negative 98 as is. And you're subtracting it from another number. The y minus that negative 98. So that's why there's two minuses here.
Oh, and then
Yeah, so this one right here is built in from the question. Like they would have said 50 less than a number, then you'd have a 50 right there. Okay. Y minus 50.
You gotta reduce it.
That doesn't reduce. Any other steps don't make sense? You okay?
That is fine.
7. Algebra formula for B. We did this last week. You get a formula, you want to solve for a specific piece. And in general, no number. It's cool, but turn the page. Solve for B.
Estoy haciendo no entendí, pero tiene bien cuál. Ahí estaba fácil, güey, no mames. Ya está, güey.
What'd you do first? You want B by itself? What-
H.
H is in the way. Get rid of it. Now we know that A over H is equal to B. All you gotta do,
Oh, snap.
one step. Any questions on 7? Ready what we did today?
Keep a minute. Algo de los plebes. Leones. A la
So let's solve for Z. So same rules for equations, same thing. Subtract 4. And then divide by 3. After that, you gotta get to the interval and then the graph. Okay. Yeah, it'll ask you. So we subtract the 5. Divide by 3. What's the interval? It's which only if we divide by a negative. We divide it by, so we're good. Yeah, always keep an eye on it though. What is the interval? Yeah, most negative has to go first. So since it's going all the way to the left, the biggest value would be -3 is the biggest. And they keep so infinity all the way up until -3. Or -3 all the way until negative side. Going forever. That's easy. Yeah, hopefully. It makes me happy.
Look at it.
Good, that make me happy. What's the graph look like? To the left side, do we put parentheses? Bracket. Do we have an equal to? Yeah. So we put parentheses here, right? There's no bracket. There's no equal to part. The graph will have the same. Any issues finding the interval or the graph? Right. These on the left is telling you keep going to the left side, the negative direction. Okay, all number lines are like this. Zeros here. Right. So this guy's saying, yeah, go start there, right after. Or right below, and keep going. Give you a little graph here, you can just put the parentheses in the right spot and draw it up. Okay. Remember, the test will be very similar. Different numbers, about it. Like last time. You guys cool on it?
Yeah.
You know, any moment it'll make any sense, just tell me. So yes. To the circle.
Lame.
Do first.
The fact that we have 4, we get 2.
Yeah, go with the numbers first, I guess, right?
Oh, yeah.
Either way.
That's yours?
That's cool.
Is that like a, no, I just had to squint my eyes and I could see.
Was it too small?
No, it was the gator sign with the thingy under it. I thought it was like a 2 with the line under it.
Oh. Oh, this one?
Right next to the 2, right. Is that a Z?
Z.
Heck,
See with the line through it.
Z's.
All right, let's move the 2Z over and then just divide. Let's make sure heck, you're gonna flip or not. So that's. Where's the final step? Yeah, it's more. What's gonna happen to the symbol? Hello. Gonna flip.
That change, does the 2 change the sign? Or you wish it back to it? That's why she got 30, I should say.
Sometimes they do change and then you don't have to worry about it. It just depends on the question, but what matters at the very end,
Early.
if you divide or multiply by negative, that's when you use.
Whole hour late.
But now we got a space here. Z greater than 3. I think it helps to do the graph first, personally. So here's 3. Everything above 3 is cool. Right? Parentheses because there's no equal to. Now that you see it, can you give me the interval? Yeah, 3, smallest one, and then the biggest. But I think it makes more sense to do the graph first. I assume you're all adults, you can do whatever you want. Rule number 9. Right. On the exam, do all the work on a separate paper, okay? Various steps. I'm gonna skip to 11. Right. To equations again. You recommend we do first?
Are we skipping time?
Yes.
Okay.
It's too easy, bro.
So -3 times 4, -12y, right?
Yes.
-3 times 6. -18. So now we're back to the usual problem. Add stuff over. What do we want to do first? What do we move? Okay. So we'll add it over. -12 plus 12. The issue? What does this mean? Is this a true statement?
Yeah.
So you get a false statement, this means. Yeah. So they're gonna ask you. If there is one solution, we'll give it. If there's no solution, we'll then choose it. And if you get a true statement, you'll have infinite solutions. Are there any questions on 11? That make sense? No solution. I told them. W plus 4 equals -2 times 3W minus 2. Yes.
I went this way from that way or this way from that way. Left to right or right to left.
Where to put them?
Yeah.
Variables. For equations, it doesn't matter, it's up to you. For inequalities, the the less than, those are recommended. Personally, I prefer the left for both. Equals is okay. Okay. The first step. Distribute. What do we get from the distribution?
-6W.
This, no.
Your solution, sir.
I told you we get the exact same thing on both sides.
It's interesting.
That implies something.
Zero. Settle.
So if you can keep going if you don't see it, see what happens.
It's gonna be 0, 0.
If you go all the way, it'd be 0, 0. So what does that mean? We get a true statement, correct? So if I add the 6 on both sides, I end up with this. If I subtract 4, well, it's gone. All real, choose all real numbers. Okay. As soon as you see the same thing on both sides, just say. All real numbers.
Get shot today.
Tiene como 5 años de vida. Lo dice hasta el
Huevo de araña que araña con los y no te quitas la máscara.
See if you can help me with the. This is just the number 1. Right? The denominator. Move the 4/3 and then deal with it. I'm gonna do plus 4/3. So how do I add these? What's the LCD of 4 and 3?
Well,
Gonna be 12. So what do I multiply the first fraction by to get a 12? 3/3. Do I change the 3 to a 12? Three times 5. Oops. 4 times 4. Fifteen plus 16.
They're easy, bro. So era la cosita.
31, right? Any question on 14? All right, I'm gonna move on to something else. 17. Different type of question. You guys cool on these so far? Okay. Okay, so, is that all right? Okay. 17 is asking, is X equal to 15 a solution? How do you determine if it's a solution? Yeah, plug it in and what are we looking for?
¿Tienes hambre? Mi culo.
Okay. So in order to determine the solution, you plug it in and we're looking for equality. If it's not equal, there's a problem, not a solution. And 15. Negative 8 plus 15. Yeah. 7 equal to 7.
Infinite solution.
So we're looking for equality in a true statement in order to determine this is the solution. Given this, determine if this is a solution. And that's you gotta plug it in and see if you get a true statement. Okay. Oh, you're good. If you get it false, then it's not a solution. Oh, you gotta. $19. Look at this picture.
Don't know which number indicate. Give it for an infinite.
What is the interval?
Give it for an infinite.
Bracket -4, comma, infinity, parentheses.
-4. Keep going. Keeps going.
How many questions are on this one?
The same as this. The review or the actual test?
Actual test. Well, wasn't it the same as the review though? Like there's 20 questions?
25, I think. There's 24.
This is 25.
Huh?
No.
Oh, it's 19.
It's like-
Chamba.
I'm gonna read the question carefully. Give the interval. Which one of these are in here?
Oh. Oh, -4. Eight.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, wait, ya terminaron. 19.
Shortening up the question. Which ones are in this interval here?
8. No, actually, no, that's wrong.
C,
See, yeah, just see.
C for sure. Not 8, right? You said
B,
not B. 9 halves is a decimal.
Wait, yes, B's in it.
No,
Which one?
starts at 4, -4.
Exactly.
Right.
I'm still in class.
My ass.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it said dyslexia messing with my handwriting. Wait, what about this guy?
No,
No, it's not really.
that's 4.5.
Yeah, it's too small, right? It's below.
I
These two are below, these two are above, so we're good. Yeah, I think looking at the number line right here will help.
But can we like, are those questions, like, if we get that in the test, right? Do we choose both of them?
Yeah. You're just gonna write down which ones are in there. So. You choose -2, -4.
No cagando. Entonces.
Yeah.
We'll give like 30 minutes.
Right, the internet.
Oh.
With 9 and finish.
Wait, the parentheses? Yes,
Bracket.
brackets on there, so. We're good.
But like right there, we just gotta put the dot and.
Put up in purple, or if you use dots, make sure you know which ones you're using. If you're not sure, just stick with the parentheses. The solid dot would be bracket.
Open circle and.
Yeah, we didn't talk about it, but if you use them, you know.
Yeah, freshman year. ¿En serio? Pregunta inteligente.
Yeah. There you go.
¿Qué te parece esta cosa? ¿A qué te parece esta cosa?
Okay. Given this guy, the first software, do the interval and graph. So. Only one step to do, right?
Preguntarle. Y con la gran puta madre.
E4 divided by -4. Negative, right? And the symbol switches because we divided by negative.
Mhm.
Interval and graph. Is the graph gonna be bracket, right? What's the interval though? It keeps going, so how do we write it?
Be a bracket. -6.
It'll keep going forever, right? That fine? What does it mean to be consecutive?
We repeating?
Give an example of three consecutive numbers. This it's in a row, right? 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Consecutive. So they're saying the sum of some random consecutive integers, integers, 369. What else did they say? Any other hints? You guys cool if I turn the page? Right, so let me give you a hint. To choose X to be a random consecutive. So if X is a number, next one has to be what? In order to stay consecutive.
+1?
+1. Yeah, you can use both of those. So if you keep 1 for X, the next one has to be X +1. So I could keep going, or I could go below, either way. X +2. 3 consecutive numbers. Okay. That makes sense? So they said that the sum of these is 369. So add them together, because they said sum. These parentheses are unnecessary. They are for emphasis. So the first number plus the next consecutive plus the third consecutive is totaling to 369. That's what they said. But now do algebra to figure out the first, second, and third. You understand how we set this up? That's the hard part. The solving is whatever. Does this setup make sense to you? So solve for X. X plus X plus X.
3x.
1 plus 2. Okay. What? Oh, wait.
Oh, you're right. You're right. You're right. Are you right? I don't think you're right, sir.
Let's remove the parentheses.
Actually, you know what? I'm wrong. You're right. You're right.
So if you get rid of the parentheses, right? X plus X plus X. There's 3 of them. 1 plus 2. Parentheses again, we're not doing anything. I just want you to see that those are 3 separate numbers. So we're gonna have to find them. We'll solve for X. What do you get? Track 3.
366.
Divide by 3. What is it?
122.
22? Okay, so we found the first number. That's what X is. So what's the second? You have to be consecutive. So the 3 numbers they wanted are these. We set it up using the definition of consecutive. Block forward that. What does that represent? Well, that's the first number I chose. Right. Has to be this though.
You randomly pick 3.
The question said the sum of 3 consecutive.
Yeah.
Is equal to 369. So using that idea. This right here. Led me to this. Okay. So the answer would, you would just write down those three numbers.
You go back.
These are my answers. Any questions on 22?
Sir. You leave it like that, please.
23 is the sum of two consecutive odd integers. Have to be odd. 24 is something to be odd. You remember the odd formula? Or even? What does it mean to be even?
Divisible by
No, it's be divisible by 2, so odd would be not divisible by 2. So. Sum of two consecutive odd integers. Negative 2, 2, 4. So even, I'm just gonna do the even formula is 2n.
What does that say?
Even formula. Odd formula. Is 2n plus 1. If I choose any integer, this would make it odd. So this is guaranteed to be odd. I don't know what the heck n is.
T6.
So they have to be consecutive odd numbers. For example, 1 and 3 would be consecutive, right? 3 and 5, 5 and 7. So skipping 1, right? What's the difference from, what's the distance from 1 to 3?
2.
2. So if I choose this to be the first one, the next one has to be
2n plus 2.
yeah, 2 more than this, right? So the sum of two consecutive. The first one plus the next one. Makes sense why I chose 3. One right after would be 2 away. So I chose some odd number. This represents odd. Next one would be 2 more.
Is that a fun in there?
That makes sense. That's kind of like a puzzle.
I don't know about that.
So the setup is the hardest part. Okay. The algebra is whatever at this point. We've done a lot of solving for n. Solving for x, whatever. Should. You know at this point, but if not, you don't need to practice. What do you do next though? Without a time. Do the best for last, right?
Figure out the numbers, consecutive numbers.
Yeah, let's just. We solve for n, then. We can plug in n and find the first, and then the second, right? So let's solve for n. There'll be. Two n plus 2n. 1 plus 3. Act 4. Two eight divided by 4. Is it divisible?
Yes.
Yep. I don't know what that is. Something. Two? No. Not even close. So we got N. First. First will be. Second will be.
And that's because it's odd.
Yeah, he is odd. It's forcing me to do odd stuff, so here we go. Odd, and the next odd.
Mm.
And now I can just plug them in and I'm gonna go through what they are. What's 2 times 57? Negative. 114 plus 1. So it would be negative. 132. Okay. Plus 3.
Negative 116.
Negative 114 plus 3. These are both odd, consecutive, and when you add them together, you get this. That's what they wanted. You see the thought process.
I don't know.
That's enough for one day. Big roll.